Imagine a sea of tall grass, whispering under the steppe wind. A rider gallops alone, saber on hip, cloak flaring like wings. He belongs to no kingdom, swears loyalty to no czar, and fears neither man nor God. He is a Cossack, child of the borderlands, born from exile, fire, and freedom. Welcome to Fata Morgana, where history is not a list of dates but a living memory, etched in rebellion, ritual, and resilience. Today we tell the story of the Cossacks, a people neither quite nation nor class, but something more elusive and more dangerous. A myth made flesh. The Cossacks emerged not from a single origin, but from many tributaries. Turkic nomads, Slavic peasants, runaway serfs, Tatar outcasts, and Orthodox believers escaping religious persecution. By the 15th century, scattered settlements began to appear along the banks of the Dnieper, Don, and Ural rivers, in what is now Ukraine and southern Russia. These lands, known as the Wild Fields, lay beyond the borders of formal states, lawless, fertile, and free. The word Cossack likely derives from the Turkic Cossack, meaning free man or adventurer. These were men who refused to kneel, exiles from empires, building democratic communes called hosts, governed by elected leaders known as atamans. Their rule was harsh and egalitarian. Every man had a voice, and every man bore arms. Religion played a central role. Most Cossacks were Eastern Orthodox, and this identity became a powerful unifier, especially against Muslim Tatars and Ottoman Turks. In the 16th and 17th centuries, the Zaporozhian Cossacks, based near modern-day Ukraine, gained fame for their raids against Ottoman outposts in the Black Sea. Their exploits were so legendary that Sultan Mehmed IV in 1676 demanded their submission. Their response? A famously obscene mocking letter, which the painter Ilya Repin later immortalized in his chaotic, grinning masterpiece, Reply of the Zaporozhian Cossacks to the Sultan of Turkey. These were men who turned war into art and laughter into resistance. But the Cossacks were not just rebels. They were also tools of empire, courted by rulers for their military prowess. In 1570, Ivan the Terrible granted privileges to the Don Cossacks. By the 18th century, Catherine the Great relied on Cossack regiments to expand Russia southward, crush Ottoman forces, and suppress internal revolts. The paradox is striking. The Cossacks, defenders of freedom, were often employed to subjugate others. They helped colonize Siberia, Kazakhstan, and parts of the Caucasus. And yet, time and again, the Cossacks rebelled against the very empires they served. Stenka Razin led a major revolt in 1670. Emilian Pugachev, claiming to be the murdered Tsar Peter III, led the Pugachev Rebellion, 1773 to 1775, threatening Catherine's reign. In each uprising, the Cossacks invoked a mythic ideal, that of a just Tsar betrayed by corrupt nobles. They did not seek modern democracy. They sought righteous autocracy, a Tsar of the people. Cossack life was rich in ritual and symbolism. Songs, dances, and oral poetry preserve their histories. Their famous Hopak dance, a whirlwind of kicks and spins, was once a martial celebration performed after battle. Their iconography often blended Orthodox saints with folk spirits and war totems. Cossack coats, fur hats, and sabers became fashion statements of resistance. Women had a complex place, mostly excluded from warfare, yet crucial in maintaining culture, raising warriors, and sometimes even fighting in disguise. The 17th century Chmielynski uprising, led by Bogdan Chmielynski, is the cornerstone of Ukrainian national identity. It began as a Cossack revolt, against Polish rule and Catholic domination. Chmielnicki forged a short-lived Cossack hetmanate, a semi-independent state. But to survive, he sought alliance with Moscow, leading to the 1654 Treaty of Pereyaslav. This moment is still hotly debated. Was it a voluntary union or the beginning of colonization? Modern Ukraine sees the Cossacks as symbols of autonomy. Russia, too, claims their legacy. In this lies the heart of the controversy. Whose Cossacks were they? With the Russian Revolution of 1917, the Cossack world collapsed. Many Cossacks sided with the White Army against the Bolsheviks. In response, the Soviets launched a brutal campaign of de-Cossackization, executions, exile, and forced collectivization. Whole villages were razed, oral traditions were lost. The independent spirit that had once tamed frontiers was branded counter-revolutionary. But even Stalin could not fully erase them. In World War II, Cossacks again returned to battle. Some fought for the Soviets, others, bitter with communism, allied, controversially, with Nazi Germany, hoping to restore a Cossack homeland. After the war, many of these men were forcibly repatriated by the Allies to the USSR, where they faced execution or Gulag imprisonment. This remains a dark chapter in Allied history, one rarely acknowledged. In the post-Soviet era, Cossack identities have resurfaced, often reconstructed, romanticized, and politically repurposed. In Russia, Cossack regiments have been revived as paramilitary units. Some patrol borders, assist police, and promote Russian nationalism. In Ukraine, Cossack imagery has been embraced by nationalist and religious groups. During the Euromaidan protests and the war in Donbass, Cossack symbols were seen on both sides of the conflict. But here lies the tragedy. The same Cossack myth is invoked by opposing ideologies, each claiming the soul of a people forged in freedom. The story of the Cossacks is not just about warriors. It is about identity influx, freedom negotiated, and the price of power. They teach us that freedom is messy. It doesn't arrive neatly. An offer requires blood, compromise, and contradiction. Myths are powerful tools and dangerous weapons. The Cossack myth has inspired uprisings, poems, and pogroms. Culture and power are always entangled. Even the freest societies risk becoming what they once opposed. In a world returning to tribal identities, paramilitarism, and frontier nationalism, the Cossack archetype is being revived, sometimes as art, sometimes as political muscle. Could we see new Cossack hosts, cultural or military, emerge from Eurasia? Possibly, but the question remains, will they be forces of freedom or tools of authoritarianism? Will they preserve their myth as guardians of the people or fall into the old traps of serving empire? Only time will tell. Across the wide steppes, their hoofbeats fade into memory. But still, when wind rustles the tall grass, when injustice awakens rebellion, the Cossack rides again. Not as a man, but as an idea. Wild, free, unbroken. This is Fata Morgana, where history breathes. And the past is a mirror, sometimes cracked, sometimes clear. If this journey stirred you, subscribe and ride with us again into the mysteries of forgotten empires and remembered freedom. Thank you very much. Take care.